So this is my 1982 C3 Corvette crossfire injection. Been asking a lot of questions about swapping out the ECU on these to an 84 ECU plug and play. Couldn't find any videos of anybody actually doing it, so I already got a little bit of a head start, but figured I'd at least document some of what I've done so far. For those of you that don't know, the ECU on these cars is located in the battery tray behind the seat. So you move the steering wheel and drop the seat back down as far as you can get it. And you can remove the T-top for a little extra headroom if you want. I'm doing okay here. But yeah, this is the progress that I've made so far. As you can see, I've already moved the battery out of the way. There's a battery compartment. You can see where all the corrosion builds up down there. So I'm gonna clean that up as well. But I've already done most of the work. As you can see, right here at the front of the package tray, I've taken out these 3 screws right here. 2 of them hold on this actual little top bracket that helps hold the ECU in, because that ECU is right there. And on this one, I got lucky. There's these 10mm bolts, and there's 4 of them, 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom, that hold the ECU in. They are hard to get to. It's a tight spot down underneath to get to, and then it's a tight spot at the top. But this one, when I took it out, it was missing the 4th one. So right there. So I got a little bit lucky, just had to get the top one off of there, and then the bottom one off. So we're about to pull the ECU out and disconnect the connectors, and then we'll try and swap it out with the 84 model and see how that goes. All right, so I have removed the pins from the 82 ECU. Now I will tell you that these are the 2 connectors. Just so you know, when you take them off, some instructions that I had heard from somebody said to study how they go in. Basically just have these little clips right here. You just give it a squeeze there in the middle and it releases it. Same thing with the white one. Just give it a squeeze right there. I will tell you that, at least on my harness, there's very little slack. So it took a little wiggling around to get them out of there. But I have successfully now pulled this ECU out. And I will tell you that I don't necessarily know if there's anything wrong with this. I do know that the car has been acting up every now and then. It's been doing some surging and almost stalling every now and then, some weird characteristics that seem to be common with the factory ECU. So we're going to swap it with an 84 and reconnect the battery and fire it up and see what happens. All right, so I got this thing connected now. As you can see, both of them hooked up. They do use the same plugs from a 84 to an 82. I'll point out, if you haven't heard already, it is very important that if it's an automatic transmission car, that you get the PROM, the EPROM chip that goes with the automatic transmission. If you try and put a manual transmission PROM in an automatic car, you're going to experience a very high idle. Doesn't mean you can't use the actual ECU. It's the only difference between the EPROM. But again, slack on the wires was really tight, so getting these things to hook up was hard. And then also, it does not use the same bracket as the 82. So until I find a more permanent solution, I'm probably gonna have to use some zip ties to secure this thing. But before I clean it up too much, I'm gonna drop the battery in here and give it a whirl, see what happens. All right, so got the battery put back in there, and the 84 ECM is in there and hooked up. Again, I don't have everything restrained and tied down. Just drop the battery in there temporarily, because we're gonna fire it up here in just a second. Let's see what it does. Power, it's good. And she's running. The engine is cold, idling around 1,000 right now, so we're gonna make sure that it drops back down. It's already running smoother than it did with the 82 ECM. You can see it's completely cold. With the 82 ECM, this car would normally run good after it warmed up for a while, but usually in the first start, it was jumping and bucking all over the place. It is not doing that so far. Just a minute, let those idle air control valves open up and see if this thing drops back down to idle where it's supposed to be. All right, now she's been idling for a little bit. Got her up to operating temperature. No warning lights. And in park right now, idling about 700. Put it in drive, drops down to around 600. Factory manual says that this car is supposed to idle about 400 in drive, but I also haven't done any tuning on this since I got it. But I can tell you this right now, whether it's the ECU or not, I'm gonna take it for a test drive here in a minute, but this car right now is running smoother than it ever did after getting that 82 ECU out of there. So we'll see about the test drive and I'll let y'all know how it went. So that was it, everybody. Took it for a test drive, and I don't know, you could say maybe it's in my mind or something, but it runs better, it idles better, the transmission shifts smoother. There are just definitely some advantages to upgrading to the 84 model ECU and an 82 or any other Crossfire. I know a lot of people are all about the Hypertech chip, and I'm sure there's benefits to that as well. But if you happen to come across an 84 ECM and you're trying to get rid of your original 82, I highly recommend it. It only took me about 45 minutes to do the swap.